Happy Frugal Friday to you. In today's video, I'm sharing another half-face drugstore, half-face high-end look with you. And I'm using a palette from MakeupRevolution. This is their Iconic Pro, paired up with the LORAC Pro 2 palette. These two are exact dupes of one another. It's really hard to tell them apart, and I'm going to keep you guessing throughout the video as to which side is drugstore and which side is high-end.
So here are the two palettes compared next to one another, and you can see that the MakeupRevolution palette is indeed a dupe for the LORAC Pro 2 palette, and it comes in at a much better price point too. First shade I'm taking from each of these palettes is that light peach shade, and so from LORAC Pro 2 that would be Nectar, and from the MakeupRevolution palette it's called Neutral. Written out exactly as I just said it. And I'm applying this with a large fluffy brush from Sigma. I'm applying the smallest amount, so you don't want to deposit too much of this color to start with. And then I'm going in with the light silver eyeshadow from both of these palettes. In LORAC Pro 2, it's called Silver, surprise, surprise, and in the MakeupRevolution palette, it's called Echo. Patting this color onto the lid so that more color sticks, and I am leaving the inner and outer third of the eye blank for now. Taking the deep reddish brown shade from each of these palettes, from LORAC Pro 2 it is KoKo, and from MakeupRevolution it is called Faith. And with a long skinny brush that still has a fluffy tip, I'm taking the smallest amount of this eyeshadow because it is one of those that is really pigmented in both of these palettes. I'm applying this onto the outer third, working it into the outer V, and I also took a little bit of this eyeshadow and applied it into the inner corner. Adding some purple into this look, because how could we not? The purples in these palettes are so beautiful. From LORAC Pro 2, I'm using Plum, and from MakeupRevolution, I'm using One Way. Using the same brush that I used before to apply the deep reddish brown shade, I'm applying this over that eyeshadow into the same areas on the eyes, but I'm packing this color on a little bit more heavy than I did before with that reddish brown eyeshadow. I'm also applying a little bit of this into the inner third of the eye, but I'm using a smaller brush than I used before, so I get more of a concentrated application. And then after using that small concentrated brush, I'm going back with that same fluffy brush I used before and using that to blend this into the look. Because it's all about blending, right? The more we blend, the better it looks. Because I love this purple so much, I went back with the tiniest amount on the tips of the bristles of this brush and used that to deepen up the crease a little bit more also. And by this time, that silver eyeshadow has disappeared on both eyes because of all the blending that I've done. So I'm going back and adding a little bit more onto the middle of the lid. And then finally finishing up with a blank brush and using that to blend all of the colors together so there aren't any harsh lines. I'm using a black eyeliner. The high-end side is Makeup Forever, and the drugstore side is Rimmel ScandalEyes. I'm not showing the application because that will just give it away right here, but I did take a little bit of this and line the lower lash line with it, and then I took the deep reddish brown shade that we used earlier. So from LORAC Pro 2, it would be KoKo, and from MakeupRevolution, it would be Faith, and I'm using that to smudge out the black line on the lower waterline. Not waterline. Lower lash line. And for my lashes, I am using dupes. The top pair is from KoKo Lashes in the style Goddess. These are my favorites. And the bottom pair is from House of Lashes in the style Iconic. Complete dupes of one another. You can't tell the difference between the two. Only difference is the price. And for my face application, I'm taking MAC's Prolongwear foundation and pairing it up with Rimmel's 25-hour foundation. And I'm putting these against one another because I do feel like they are very similar in terms of application, finish, and longevity. And for setting the face, I used MAC's pressed powder and Rimmel's Stay Matte powder. And we are going to see how these two perform against each other with the foundation. For my blush, I'm using one from MAC in the shade Stay By Me, and its counterpart can be found in the Sedona Lace 26 Pan Blush Palette. And for the lips, high-end wise, I'm using Anastasia's Pure Hollywood in conjunction with Makeup Revolution's More Than I Could Give. So that brings us to the question, have you been able to figure out which side is high-end and which side is drugstore?
By popular request in videos past that I've done like this, many of you have asked to see what the face looked like at the end of the day, to see if the drugstore side really did compare to the high-end side. So here is the proof.
Overall, I don't have any complaints about this look whatsoever in terms of how each side wore. The drugstore side absolutely kept up with the high-end side. The only thing that fell apart in this entire look were the lips, but that was both the high-end side and the drugstore side. Everything else looked fantastic.
And now that we're at the end of the video, I wanted to take a minute to address my hair, since I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of questions on it. What did you do? So I recently partnered up with Sally Beauty to make a video specifically for their YouTube channel showing a DIY coloring process using some of their really bright neon shades. And that video will probably be appearing on their channel within the next week or so. And so I chose to go with this really beautiful bright magenta pink, and that is what you're seeing here. I more than likely will be publishing the video on my channel. I'm not entirely sure yet if I want to do it or not. Let me know what you think, if it is something that you would like to see, and I will absolutely consider it. So yeah, that is what this is from. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more Frugal Fridays in the future, and I look forward to seeing you again next Friday. Have a great weekend!